The New York Times is asking a haunting question: was a monster hiding in plain sight?
In a deep investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's childhood, reporters Lisa Miller and Steve Etter combed through thousands of emails, documents, and nearly 24 interviews to find the earliest traces of one of history's most notorious sexual predators, and what they find is, in many ways, startlingly ordinary. Epstein grew up in Seagate, a gated neighborhood on the western tip of Coney Island in Brooklyn. His family moved there when he was around 6 years old. His father, Seymour, was a laborer for the New York City Parks Department making less than $8,000 a year. His mother, Paula, worked as a school aide.
They rented just the second floor of a 3-story Dutch colonial on Maple Avenue.
His younger brother, Mark, nicknamed Puggy, shared that modest apartment with them. In Seagate, Epstein picked up a nickname of his own, Bear. His brother Mark explained it simply: Jeff slept a lot, and his friends would come by after school only to be told to let him sleep, like a bear in a den. His cousin Ronnie Goodman remembers visiting when Jeff was around 14, finding him stretched out on his bed, reading a calculus textbook with Beethoven blasting in the background.
She recalled asking, "Who reads calculus books to relax?" Seagate itself was a kind of bubble.
Outside its tall fences, the rest of Coney Island was being torn apart, burned, vandalized, emptied out during urban renewal. Inside, kids had the run of the place. They crowded each other's houses, attended each other's bar mitzvahs, and largely raised themselves. As one neighbor put it, it was like day camp all year round.
Adults seemed beside the point.
By junior high, Epstein had found his people, a tight group of 4 smart, music-loving boys who preferred cracking each other up to chasing athletic glory. There was Terry Kafka, Warren Eisenstein, a gifted guitarist and mimic, and Michael Buchholz, a non-stop talker everyone called Frog. Together, they snuck into $5 seats at the Fillmore Auditorium, drank Sunny Boy orange sodas, and ate lobster rolls as the ultimate luxury. Epstein and Kafka even traveled across Europe as teenagers on $2 a day, and spent time at the TWA terminal at Kennedy Airport watching planes take off and, as the files document, picking up girls. When Epstein turned 50 in 2003, his then-partner Ghislaine Maxwell assembled a birthday book of tributes. She reached out not just to his famous and powerful connections, but to these same boyhood friends from Seagate.
Their letters are steeped in nostalgia: junker cars, light shoplifting, out-of-bounds pranks, and a constant preoccupation with sex. Kafka wrote to Epstein, "You didn't learn life's lessons in your house. You learned them from us."
To the wider world at Lafayette High School, Epstein left little impression. Classmates who spoke to the Times described him as aloof, standoffish, shy, arrogant, and intense.
One woman, Ellen Fuhrer, said she never once saw him chatting with classmates in the hallways.
He was always alone, she said. But to his inner circle, he was something else entirely: brilliant, generous, funny, loyal. His high school friend Barbara Santangelo credits him with tutoring her in geometry so she could get into college. She said thinking about it still makes her emotional. And that tension, the warmth his intimates felt versus the predator the world came to know, is exactly what makes this investigation so unsettling.
Reporters note that people who knew Epstein as a child struggle to reconcile the two.
One woman who attended elementary and junior high school with him specifically remembered the boys who would harass girls in the hallways.
"He wasn't one of them," she said. "Never."
The article also touches on speculation, circulated in memoirs and online, that Epstein himself may have been a victim of childhood sexual abuse. Virginia Roberts Giuffre, one of Epstein's earliest known victims, who died by suicide in 2025, wrote in her memoir that she believed Epstein saw a piece of himself in her, an abused child. She recalled asking him once about his upbringing, and said he shut her down immediately, making clear it was a topic never to be raised again. The reporters are careful here.
They're not offering easy answers.
Every villain, they write, prompts a hunt for an origin story and understandable, if often fruitless, quest to comprehend the incomprehensible. With Epstein, that quest runs through millions of pages of released federal documents, aging relatives, and childhood friends who are still incredulous that their lives collided with his. What the documents and interviews reveal is not a clear monster in the making, but something more unsettling: a brilliant, private, fiercely loyal boy from a modest Jewish neighborhood in Brooklyn who grew up largely unsupervised, in a community where kids set the rules, and who somehow became one of the most prolific and protected sexual predators in modern history. The clues are there, but they don't add up to a neat explanation, and that, perhaps, is the most troubling finding of all.